The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. We are now we're a little more than halfway through the month of May. It's a little overcast outside, but I have a Zoom show to LA with a beautiful model, Samantha Chin, Sam Chin. Her dad was a guest on my show back in December at my Area 58 location, and we're going to have a wonderful show. She's got some pictures we're going to look at. She took of her beautiful modeling career, I guess, but before we get to her, I got to read these incredible underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. So, we have Personal Best Karate in Southeastern. We have Pals Driving School in Middleborough, setting up classes for August. Got to check the website for that. We have Crazy Axes Rec Center in Hanover. We have Eli's Auto Care in Taunton. We have Boombox in Middleborough. We have Simply Beautiful Salon in Kingston. We have Diesel Plus Unlimited in Whitman. We have Lynch's Towing Auto Cycle and Truck Center in Brockton. One number for towing, one number for projects. My pal Lynchy there in Brockton is always in search of new scrap metal wheels, anything to do with transportation. He handles it all. We have One Good Credit in Brockton. We have First Priority in auto sales in Middleborough. Good to have them back. We have New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We have the Hanover House of Pizza in Hanover. They make great Sicilian pizza, Greek salads, and have awesome people working there, and they deliver. We have Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We have Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We have Tom Auto in Middleborough. We have the Gunrunner LLC, the Second Amendment Freedom Store in Middleborough, experts in customizing prices and selection. We have the Gunrunner LLC. Oh, that was the Gunrunner LLC, the Second Amendment Freedom Store. We have the Auto Shop in Hanover with Master Mechanic Ed Rooney. We have Tom Auto in Middleborough as well. We have Grant's Rental in Bridgewater. We have Doggy Boutique, All-Beat Professional Grooming for dogs and cats, run by my great next-door neighbor, Debbie Siddell in Brockton. We have Easton Fitness in the Village Shops in Northeastern. We have Haven Psychiatric Services right here in the building at 211 Oliver Street in Northeastern. We have DNS Auto Works and Collision Specialists in Abington on Route 58, and we have Joe's Diner in Taunton. And I want to thank all you guys very much. And now, Sam Chin, what an honor to have you on my show. You look lovely, and you're in LA.
Thank you.
And
Hi,
and how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm
Okay.
doing very great today. Yeah.
Well, how's the weather out there?
The weather actually, I mean, we can't really complain. I mean, I lived in Marblehead, Massachusetts for a little bit, so
Okay.
it's kind of silly complaining. It's overcast right now. We don't have any sun, but I think it's like, it's 67 right now. Shouldn't complain about anything, but we would love the sun by now. Some
Okay.
warm beach weather, but no, we're not quite there yet.
Well, anytime there's no earthquake in Southern California, you're blessed, the way I figure it.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to talk to you now. Your father is an amazing meditation specialist. We had him on. He was my next to last show of 2023. And at that point, we said we're going to get his kids on, and you're the first one to do it. I guess you have a brother that does some cool stuff out there as well. And at some point, we'll probably get him on. But I saw you and I said, well, she's a model. I love having models on the show. She's a pretty girl and everything. So let's start with her. And here you are. And now, your father told me that he was he lived in Norwood, though, in Norwood, Mass. Is that, did you
Yeah.
spend any time? You said you spent time here as well, right?
Yeah, so he grew up in Norwood. My mom grew up in Medford, and
Okay.
my brother was born in Swampscott. So before I was born, they moved out back to San Diego and Los Angeles, and I was born in Vegas when they were living there. We moved to
Okay.
Los Angeles, and then for third through seventh grade, we lived in Marblehead for me.
Oh, okay.
During
Marblehead's a beautiful town. Well,
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm glad to hear that even though you were born in Vegas, you didn't stay in Vegas.
No, we
Yeah.
didn't.
I'm
I
glad.
mean, I have no memories of Vegas because they had been living there for, I want to say, like 3 or 4 years
Right.
before we moved. So I was 6 months when we moved to Los Angeles. So whenever people ask me like where I'm from, majority of my life I've spent in Los Angeles.
Okay. And which is now not, I mean, you're still in your 20s, right? You look pretty young.
Just about. I'm in my final year of my 20s. I'll
Yeah.
be 30 later this year. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
can, when you were born, I was already 35 probably. So, but
There we go. You
you
know,
wouldn't know by looking at me. I know, hard to believe. Okay.
I believe, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to keep myself in shape, and I don't know, it's amazing. I gotta, I've never done any actual modeling, I don't know if you were born around December 22nd of '94, but that was on that particular day. I got to bring this up. Did a lot of bike riding back then, and it was a very mild day here in the Boston area. It was like 65 degrees, and when I used to bike, I bike shirtless if I could do it, if it was warm enough. I like showing it off. So I was riding my bike down Belmont Street in Brockton, and this woman was trying to take my picture. And turns out she was a photographer for the Boston Globe, and they were looking for a story about the amazingly mild weather. And what better story than a guy with on a bike with no shirt? And I ended up making the front page of that Boston Globe the next day with that picture.
That's
So
awesome.
if you really want, I'll send it to you. But if you don't, I'll understand. I'm just kidding. But I just figured that's the most modeling I've ever done. But boy, I got to tell you, it was great. I thought it would be like in black and white on the Metro Region section, and there it was on the cover of page 1 in totally glossy color. It was incredible on December
That's
23rd.
amazing.
Yeah, and then 2 days later, it was 60 degrees. It was like 20 degrees. The temperature dropped like 40 degrees, and as it does in New England so often.
Hmm.
All right. Well, do you have any? You've lived in LA since you were 6 months, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Aside from the time in
All right.
Marblehead. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you did. All right. So let's talk about your childhood. How did you get into modeling? What did you do as a child, and how did it get you where you're at now? I always say everything
Yeah,
in
so-
life is epic. So tell me about it, and I'll ask questions as I see fit. If you
Sure,
will.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've always been into fashion, beauty, just being kind of, a girly girl in some senses, but
Okay.
I discovered really like modeling as an industry when America's Next Top Model came out.
Okay.
And I was actually living in Marblehead at the time. I started watching it from its second season and I was 9.
Well,
And something about it being, part of this artistic creation, even though in fashion it is a part of the marketing, the selling point of the fashion industry, something about being a part of this creative project with other minds and visionaries was really appealing to me. But
okay.
I had told my mom, apparently at that time, she reminded me much later when I was in college, I had said, oh, I want to go through school first. I want to finish all of my degrees and see what that would be like after. So I ended up going to college in San Francisco. I got my degree in dance there, and I started networking with people from there. That was, I think I want to say around like 2013, 2014, when Instagram really started becoming a networking space for creatives, and it wasn't just, kind of an extension of Facebook.
Okay.
So I started networking there with people doing photo shoots just by myself with other people. And I freelanced as a model until 2019. And then I got signed with Wilhelmina Model. So I've been with Wilhelmina since 2019 at this point now.
Okay. They're in LA, right?
Yeah, so I'm signed with them in LA and New York. I'm part of the sport and fitness division because of my dance background.
Okay. So you've done dance too. Well, now first of all, what college did you go to in San Francisco?
I went to San Francisco State University.
Okay. Interesting. And what was your major? I think
My
you did.
major was dance.
It was
Yeah, so I
dance.
got
Okay.
my Bachelor of Arts in dance when I was there. Yeah, I originally went in with a kinesiology degree,
Okay.
kinesiology double major to get that degree. But the major was so impacted, by the time I was in my junior year, I was still trying to crash prerequisite classes. And I was like, I want
Okay.
to get out in the world, have my degree. And at that time, when I was in college, is when I really started having conversations with my dad about teaching meditation, because he taught me to meditate my brother and I each when we were 4.
Okay.
And I've always had conversations with him about meditation. Just, it's been a very integrated, normal speak of my life. And in
Okay.
college, it was coming up with a lot of other people, and I noticed that I really enjoyed talking about meditation and offering this different, easy technique to people that I had learned, but I would just defer people like, oh, my dad teaches meditation.
Okay.
But that's when I started really getting the wheels turning with him. And then in the past couple years now, we've gone through the teacher training, and now I'm teaching my own students of the technique. So that kind of alleviated the, what if I don't want to do dance anymore? Or, because the kinesiology major didn't end up being something that I followed through with. So the meditation teaching is now my career.
That's what you're doing. Now, are you doing more of that than you are modeling currently?
I do it. It's kind of like
Oh,
a
good.
double
That's awesome.
job.
You manage your
Yeah.
time well,
Like,
so you can do both.
yeah, I get to balance it. I get to have fulfill my love for, teaching and helping people, and also the creative side of my brain to have all of it.
And it's healthy too, teaching meditation and doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Listen, I learned to meditate in 1972 when I was like 12 and a half. And my parents
Mm.
still do it every day, and they're in their high 80s now.
Yeah.
And so I think part of the reason for their longevity is that. I think it's very important, to stay calm, relax, and because the world is a stressful egg basically, and you have to learn to not crack it too much. Yeah, I just made that up. Pretty good, huh?
It's a
Okay.
good one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when did you have your first modeling assignment? What was that show you watched at 9? Was that a TV show, a national TV show about modeling?
Yeah, it was America's Next Top Model. It was hosted by Tyra Banks. It was like a competition show. I
Okay.
think, yeah,
Did
and it
you,
ran for a while. I don't know if it's still going or
right.
not, but
Probably,
yeah.
well, no, it probably isn't, but did you participate? Did you enter it at some point?
No, I didn't.
Okay. But you
Yeah,
liked it
I
enough
was,
to want to try it yourself.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's what really kind of like opened my mind to what it could be like, because I always saw the final product in a magazine or a billboard or something like that. So that show kind of gave me a little bit more of an idea of like what it's like to actually go from point A to point B
Okay.
as the model. Yeah.
But you've really taken it a long way in your career. You got LA, you got New York. Where else have you modeled, if anywhere else?
I mean, I had a job in San Francisco,
Okay.
but other than that, yeah, it's really just been LA, and I'm signed. I haven't done work in New York, but I'm technically signed also in New York because of my agency.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
But they fly you from city to city when there are assignments available. Is that it?
yeah,
Okay. Wow,
yeah.
that's
There's
incredible.
conversations in terms of like you know, what gets covered and whatnot, but most of the time, yeah,
And all right,
yeah.
now tell me the type of modeling. I mean, are these for magazines? Are these for billboards? Are these for fitness TV? Have you ever done anything on TV besides? Is this your first TV interview? Have you ever been interviewed on TV before?
Not on TV. I mean, I did something on a YouTube podcast
Okay,
last week. Another person that my dad has worked with, Kathy Mason. But other than that, no. I mean, I was in a commercial for a company called Tonal.
okay.
It's a home workout machine. So
Oh,
I
good.
think
I would have thought
I
that
hope
maybe I would have thought the cereal, if not the workout machine. Remember the? Yeah, right. Okay, cool.
yeah. Yeah, I think those have mostly run on I've only seen it on YouTube, and I only use streaming platforms, so I'm not sure. It may have run on TV before as well, or throughout, other streaming platforms that do have ads. But that's the other TV commercial that I have done. And then I did a lot of e-commerce work for Lululemon.
Okay.
So that's just pictures that are on their website, to help sell the clothes and things like that.
Okay, you do have some TV history too. That's what I'm.
Mhm.
Have you ever now when did you start dancing? How old were you?
I started dancing when I was 10. So I
Oh,
actually started when I was in Marblehead. I mean, it actually dates back to when I was 3. I started taking ballet. I don't know for about how long, but
yeah.
I didn't, at the time it didn't sit with me. So I told my
Okay,
parents, I don't really want to do it. And they're like, okay, we're not going to force you to do it.
that's good.
So I picked it back up later when I was 10. And then I went to Performing Arts High School when I was out here in Los Angeles, where I was in the music department of the school that had the dance
Okay.
academy within it.
Oh,
And yeah, danced all through the 4 years of high school and then all through college. And then I was a part of a contemporary company when I graduated college for a couple years. And now it really just works as like a backbone foundation for me to have as just a person that I enjoy as, keeping my body young and healthy and my mind stimulated. And then it helps with the movement and direction as being a model.
of course. All right, that's great. Yeah, aside from, do you do anything else in entertainment? Do you write? Do you sing? Do you play an instrument? Anything like that?
No, none of those things. I mean, I do for my own fun,
Okay, no,
but
I'm sure you do. I always ask
yeah.
people this because I want to make sure we cover everything. That's
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
I try to be thorough. Okay, so how many assignments do you usually get like in the course of a year? Does it depend on the demand? I suppose it does. Now, I wasn't still clear on where you model those. Mostly magazines or on
It's
billboards?
been on websites for the
Well,
most
oh,
part.
okay, websites.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what about print photography like that? You know, and nothing like.
I was in, yeah. Yeah, I
Okay,
was in a magazine actually. I forgot. In I think it was 2022. It's called C Magazine. It's a California lifestyle magazine. So I was in a spread of that,
okay,
where they showcased a lot of different jewelry companies.
okay,
And yeah.
okay. But wearing jewelry. How about like outdoor shoots, like bikini modeling on the beach and stuff like that?
Something I'm a lot of the photos that I sent you are portfolio work that I've created with
Oh,
other people. So,
okay,
some of it, like the one that you'll see where like I'm hanging out of like a red car, that's part of that jewelry shoot for the C magazine.
okay,
But a lot of other photo shoots that I do, and especially the ones that I've sent you, are just ones that I create with other people for the sake of having variety in my portfolio.
okay. And how many agents represent you? You have more than one? You said one in LA,
Just
one in New
one.
York. Okay, but they
Yeah.
take you all over the country whenever there's work.
Yeah, when
O-
they see fit. Yeah.
Okay, and have you done? Did you say you modeled in Boston as well, around here?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you haven't.
That's just
Okay.
when it started.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
okay.
when it started. But I was about 12 when we left, but I
Okay.
started really taking it seriously when I was about 19.
Okay. And that's like 1/3 of your life already, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you're pretty ambitious too. Have you ever done any acting?
I did when I was younger. Actually in Marblehead, my brother and I did a Shakespeare camp every summer.
So you done acting. Tell me about that when you were a little kid.
Yeah, when I was younger, my brother, I had a habit of just liking to do whatever my brother was doing because he's
Okay.
6.5 years older. So started going to this Shakespeare camp in the summer,
Okay.
and I think it was at Winter Island in I forget what part of near Marblehead that was, but that's where we went. So I did that, I think, for like 3 summers. So
Okay.
that was fun. I enjoyed it. And it does help now because sometimes when I get castings for modeling, it'll be for commercials. So I have to do some line memorization, some acting and things like that. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. I always say the more multifaceted you are, the more opportunities you're going to have.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
who's older, you or your brother?
My brother.
He's older.
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
Um, all right. So, do you have besides your brother and your parents? Do you have a family of your own? Are you married with children yourself?
No, no, no married with children yet.
Good. You're freed up. That's great. That's
I'm freed up, yeah, I'm still enjoying my independence
enjoying your
and coming
independence.
into my
There's
own.
no limit to the time you can have. I'm almost 65 and I'm enjoying my independence, and
Yeah,
I'm
it's
loving it.
great.
And
Yeah, I
it's
think especially having the meditation in my life for as long as I have, and my parents just reinforcing, having a relationship with just myself
yeah.
has helped throughout the journey of life and just being enjoying my own company. And when I enjoy my own company, then I also overpour that with my friends and the other people that I choose to spend my time with. So I think that's an important place to start for sure.
It is. It is an important place. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I mean, you're obviously very well adjusted. To be honest with you, I have autism, and my social life is pretty low right now. But that's why the show is kind of like a pick me up, because it
hmm
enables me to interact with other people. When ordinarily I'm pretty isolated. And that's just the way it is for me. Hopefully that changes eventually. But
Yeah,
I mean, I try to live healthy. Now I assume you follow a workout regimen every day too, right?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about what that's like. What do you do?
Well, I do a lot of like calisthenics at home,
Okay,
and I do weight training at home as well. I was doing boxing for a little bit for the past few months, but it didn't, I loved it for the time that I had done it.
okay,
I was just going to like group classes, but I noticed as, I'm still young, but as my body is, just inevitably aging, I'm returning back to going to dance classes and other things that elongate my body instead of this kind of like compacting.
yep.
Um, yeah,
Okay, so you
yeah,
got so you sort of took a break from dancing, but now you're back doing it more, right?
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now do you ever teach? Have you ever taught dancing to anybody?
I was doing well, I used to work at front desk at a dance studio when, shortly after college,
Okay,
and they had me just jump in and assist for a semester of the youth ballet classes.
okay,
But yeah, and I used to substitute classes for the director, the choreographer that I used to dance for. I would substitute some of her classes here and there, her adult contemporary classes.
Okay, so you've done, all right, so you have done that. So it's, so
Mhm.
basically the only, is ballet the only kind of dance you do, or are there other kinds too, like aerobic dancing, whatever? I mean, I don't know. The only time I dance is when I'm, if I'm either at a concert or at a sporting event and I got to use the restroom and there's a long line, that's when I dance. I had to bring, I sorry, I had to, I like to be humorous, what can I say? But
Yeah.
you tell me what kind of dancing you do.
Yeah, so I primarily did and still practice modern and contemporary dance styles.
Oh,
So ballet has always been a part of my training just because it's very good foundationally,
yep.
but I've done mostly styles like Horton technique and release technique and yeah, contemporary is my favorite for sure.
Cool. Okay. Now, is that like really high speed stuff or does it vary?
It depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. It's very open in terms of what kind of music you're using
Right.
and what kind of story you're telling, the choreographic style. Sometimes there's a combination of, rhythm and speed. Yeah.
Because I'm looking at you and I could actually see you doing Swan Lake or possibly the Nutcracker. And
I never did that. I did ballet, but I wasn't like in a ballet school for that.
oh, really?
Um,
Okay.
but I do have grace. I will say I'm quite graceful. It's
Yeah, I
in there.
believe that. That's what I
Yeah.
can tell. I could tell. I almost wish you had highlights of your ballet dancing. So now when you dance, do you always dance by yourself or do you sometimes have a partner? How does that work?
Yeah, so when I was in the company, and when I was in school in high school and in college, I was in the dance companies of the schools.
Okay.
So it depends on the piece that you're doing. So
Right.
sometimes there's a piece where you have, 6 to 10 dancers, and there's sections where someone has a solo, or there's a duet, or there's a group section, and there's combinations of that. So I've done solos, duets, groups, all of that in between throughout different pieces in my dance career.
Have you ever considered maybe auditioning for Dancing with the Stars, something like that?
Um, I don't know if I've considered it. I haven't considered it. I think it's fun, but it's just not for me.
Really?
I think,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Because I was thinking, people. I mean, all right. If it's not for you, it's not for you. I mean, after a while, in a way, there'd be a lot of pressure there because you'd have to. You'd go from being somebody that felt independent about what she was doing to being somebody that felt more pressure to achieve something that, where you have to win something and compete with someone else. Whereas this way, you really don't have to. So you're not really into
yeah.
competitive dancing, I guess.
No, not anymore. I mean, I was on dance team in high school, and that was really fun.
That was it. Okay.
That was my time of competitive dancing. I like more of dancing as like I like being in a company when we're dancing on a stage and we're working on a project
Right.
for, a long time. And there's a lot of editing and process and rehearsal that goes into, like a 3-day weekend or maybe a 2-weekend showing of it.
Okay.
That's more my speed, my kind of reward
All
from
right. No, I know you have
doing
a, I know you have a, I know your ancestry is Chinese. Have you been to China?
I haven't actually, but that is on
In
my
your
my
bucket
dad and
list?
I actually we have to take a world trip together at some point
That
in
sounds
the near
great.
future.
I actually did go myself in 1998. And
Wow.
we did 8 cities in Hong Kong and Macau. And in
Wow.
case you don't know, Macau's not an Irish cow. It's an island off the coast of China. You probably knew that. I like to be funny. I'm sorry. Now, are you familiar with
That's
Sarah
good.
Silverman, the comedian?
Yeah.
She's my cousin.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I love her. She's so funny.
And she's right out your way, too. Why don't you go and
Oh, yeah.
you should go and crash one of her shows if she's ever performing at the Staples Center or something. That could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Well, now you did acting, you said as a kid. Would you ever consider going back trying it again? Maybe do you have a resume like? I mean, I think you'd be great in a film. If I could see you doing comedy and doing, something really upbeat, something on Lifetime, maybe. Just a thought. Just wondering. I always try to give.
I mean, yeah. If it came along, I mean, maybe. I have a lot of, living in LA and growing up
Right,
going to
exactly.
performing arts
You're
high
right. You're right.
school.
You're right there in movie. You're in Tinseltown.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
now? Does your agent, is it just for modeling, or do they give you other opportunities as well? That's what I'm wondering. Like, do they say, could they find you a movie role somewhere or on a TV show or something?
With my agency, they are just modeling, but I
Okay.
could get a talent agent that's for acting as well if I wanted to.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Right
Yeah.
now, my main focus is just,
Just
keeping
modeling.
with the things that I have going on, which is the teaching and the modeling. And
Right. And
if
just,
something comes along, I'm an open person, I'm adaptable, but
okay.
if it comes along, I'd be interested. Yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what, Sam? We're done to under 5 minutes finally. I hope you had fun talking to me.
I did. Thank you so much for having
I
me.
hope I asked good questions. You have, I said to myself, this girl's got a lot going on. Where to begin? That kind of thing. But I
Mhm.
like to think that I covered as much as about you as I could, because that's basically the way we do things on my show. So what I want you
Yeah.
to do in the remaining time is, like I said before, give shouts out to people that are going to see the show, and then we'll wrap it up with my snap and the way we began it. So go ahead.
Amazing.
Oh,
I
thank
mean,
you.
I would obviously shout out my father, Kelvin.
Kelvin, how you
Kelvin
doing, bro? How you,
got
great,
me on the
great,
show,
great kid you
taught
got.
me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, he taught me the meditation technique that has been, in
Yeah,
very incorporated, important part of my life. And I'd shout out my mother, Peggy Chin, as well. She wasn't a part of the meditation movement, but she learned to meditate before I was born, and she's always reinforced the technique with me and, how that shapes me as a person. My brother, Jesse, we've grown up together and we've
cool.
gone through a lot of chapters and things like that to live life together. I don't know who else. I mean, the people who know that I love them, they know that I love them if they're seeing this. So
How
love
many
you.
how many years old how many years older is your brother than you?
He's 6.5.
Oh, 6.5 years older?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I figured he was like almost a twin. I didn't. Well, for when you were growing up, that must have been quite a gap. Because I mean, my younger brother's 4 years younger than me, and we
Mhm.
were kids. I couldn't stand them. We hated each other for a
Yeah.
while. I mean, because most kids go through that phase, but it sounds like whatever it was you got through, it was a
Yeah, I
piece of
mean,
cake.
yeah, we experienced that. I mean, that I remember probably when I got to like 5 or 6, that's when the age difference really started to be apparent, where he was like, I want to go do my own thing, like leave me alone. And I was like, I love you, like play with me.
Yeah, I
So
know.
it was, and that lasted until about, I mean, we've always been loving and close, but we got even closer to the point of like being like legitimate, like friend,
That's great.
like,
That's
and
good.
I think once I was at the end of high school,
Yeah,
that's when that age gap really closed, and we've experienced a decent amount of life together,
of
and
course.
our kind of mentalities are at a closer place now.
Okay, I mean, that's fantastic. I'm so glad you guys get along so well. I get along great with my brother too, but it took 40 years for me to really care about him, and but it was
Yeah.
worth the wait. All right, so if you had a good time with me, what I want you to do is spread the word about my show. Try to you got my digits. See if you can get other people to do my show. We'll have them on by Zoom or in person. And if you ever visit Massachusetts, let me know. I'll look you up. We can
We
hang out
will.
if you want. That's up to you, but you can
Absolutely.
stand it.
We'll get a coffee, something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good to me. All right. Now I'm going to ask you one favor. When we finish the show, would you mind sticking around? And my tech guy will take pictures. I know you're not on Facebook. I'll send them to your father, and then he can, and I'll say what a great time I had with you. I know you were on Facebook before. It seems to me that when I interviewed your father, you were on it, and then for some reason you left. You're not there anymore. You used to. I said, because I remember I sent you a friend request back in December, but you never accepted it, and then he said you weren't on it anymore. So I guess
Oh,
you.
I mean, like like I have a Facebook, but I never check it. So
Well, you still have an active account.
it's active there, but I just like where you probably sent me a friend request. I just didn't see
Oh,
it.
you just didn't see it. All right. Well,
I just don't check it.
all
Yeah.
right. Well, that's fine.
Nothing personal.
No, no, I understand. I realize that. But the reason what I'm saying is we're going to do a picture, and then I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to try another friend request, and if you accept it, I can tag you.
Okay.
All right. All
You
right.
got it.
Sam, you did a
Yeah.
great job. You ready to wrap the show up?
I'm ready. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right, folks. We're wrapping up another great episode of Topic Time. See you next week. Signing off and rolling out.